If you're not feeling like shit, the gang stalkers are not happy. And guess what? My gang stalkers are not happy right now because I'm feeling good. I'm feeling, it might not sound like it, but I am feeling very good right now. I'm listening to my gut. Guess what happens when you start listening to your gut? They get pissed off. They get so pissed off. There's rage. There's constant stalking. Constant stalking. Literally, like you will have things happening right then and there. As soon as you make up your mind and you listen to your gut, as soon as that happens, there's something spiritual connected to this, you guys, because it literally happens right away where you make up your mind. It just happened to me, okay? I'm listening to my gut, and what happens? I'm not going to tell you the details of what just happened, but something negative literally just happened right after I made up my mind to listen to myself and my gut and my heart. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. See, this whole thing, yeah, it's meant to make you look crazy, but it's also designed for you to sabotage yourself, for you to not trust yourself, and to become fearful of yourself. Like as if you don't know what's right or wrong. You don't know the right way to go. You don't know anything. That's what they want. They want confusion. I heard that the devil, the character of the devil, which I'm starting to believe that the devil could be an entity. I think the devil is an entity. It could be, because here's what I thought the devil was an energy, a force. Now that's true too, but I'm starting to think that there actually is some sort of entity or creature that is called the devil. But anyways, back on track. I heard the devil, what the devil wants the most is confusion. And see, because if you're confused and you don't know right from wrong, it's got you. The negative energy has you. When you have no clue where you're going, you have no clue what is right, what is wrong, what's going to help me get out of this situation. If you don't know, the devil has you right where he wants you. And we can be talking about this metaphorically. We can be talking about this literally. Like, I like to look at things in different ways while I'm talking about things so that if I'm wrong about something, then I can correct myself later on, to know the truth. Because that's my main goal, is just to know the truth and to follow what is true. So, that's why, I don't consider myself religious, because I don't just follow like dogma or teachings of like traditional things. I just don't, that's just what I don't do, okay? And I'm not gonna judge anybody that is. I think everybody's in their own journey of discovering what is true. And there's some that Maybe some have found out more than others, and who knows, maybe the people that think they know don't really know. I'm just admitting that I don't know. And that I think that we're still figuring this out as, humanity. We're still figuring all this out because we really don't know all of the truth. We can figure out what's not true. I like to do that because then it helps me get to what is true. If I get rid of all the things that are not true. Here's something that's true that I found out that's true. Every time I try to plan something that's good, even if I plan it like that day, a few hours ahead of time, it usually gets sabotaged. Or the experience that I thought I would have was not a good one, when it should have been a good one. There was no evidence of or reason why it should have been bad. And I know that life is not always perfect, but as targeted individuals understand and know very well, these things happen at these specific moments. It's like you just know, like, this is going to happen. I already know it's going to happen. And no, I'm not creating it, because I understand our thoughts are powerful and we could be creating things that we don't necessarily want. We can attract negativity if we're thinking negatively. But I'm not thinking negatively. The thought might cross my mind, but it's not a thought that stays. It's just kind of like, oh, if this happens, they might try to sabotage it in some way. But then I say, well, I'm not going to think like that. And I eventually, distract myself away from that. And I'm not thinking like that. But then something inevitably always ends up sabotaging a plan of mine. And I already knew this. I just want to share this with you guys too. It's better to be spontaneous. And I like to listen to, I have listened to Brian too a lot before. And I'm just, personally telling you who I've listened to. I'm not telling you guys you should listen to him, but I mean, it would help. But yeah, I'm not trying to promote anybody or I don't know. It's really just a personal thing what I'm talking about right now. Brian too, he said, this is what I've learned from him, is that multitasking is very good to do. It actually screws up the mind control, through remote neural monitoring. So remote neural monitoring obviously is a monitoring done remotely. And I think that they use computers to, I don't really know how this is all done, but I do have the patents for it. They're on the internet. You can look them up for remotely monitoring and altering brainwaves. There's other ones. That's just the one that I remember. But anyways, so when they remote neural monitor you, they, I guess, I don't know how to explain it, but it's easier for them to read what's going on if you're doing one thing at a time. But apparently, according to Brian too, he says that it's actually harder for them to read what's going on with you, and it's harder to mind control you when you're doing multiple things at once. For example, listening to music, doing something else like washing dishes or cleaning or something. In fact, you can have multiple things playing. You could be doing multiple things. And he says that the brain is not actually doing all these things at once. It's actually switching very fast from one thing to another. And he said that that's what specifically messes up. I don't know how else to put it. I'm kind of putting it in the simplest terms because that's how I understood it. Like, it screws up the mind control. It screws up the monitoring because I think it's the randomness. Like, they're not able to gauge, like, I think it's the randomness and the quickness. Like, because you're switching so quick back and forth from one thing to another, it's like they're not able to catch up with your thinking, maybe, your thinking patterns. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know how I got into this, but this whole thing was supposed to be about something else. Honestly, sometimes I feel like my memory just goes, and I think that can be part of the monitoring as well. Well, I know it is because the patents explain it all, and they can actually take your memories away, which is, again, this all sounds crazy. This all sounds like a science fiction book or movie, but it's real, people. And just because it sounds crazy, I mean, in itself, isn't that illogical? I mean, ask yourself, isn't that illogical to say you believe it to be crazy just because it sounds crazy and you're not actually doing the work and looking it up? Isn't that, like, kind of stupid, And I'm only being matter of fact right now. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. It's just, like, a fact that, you're not very intelligent at all. If you can just follow what everybody else is saying about it and just go along with it, just because everybody else says it's crazy, just because it's always been that way and repeated by person after person, that, oh, well, nobody can read your mind. That's crazy. Oh, yeah, you're right. Nobody can read your mind. I know, that's a crazy thought. Why would I even think of anything like that? But it's like, okay, right there, I'm suspicious as to why people would want us to keep, it's like everybody says the same thing. Like, oh, why would I even think of something like that? Or, I mean, most people say the same thing. Most people. When I say most people, I mean, there are so many people. It's really insane. I don't know. I really don't know many people that have the mind that I do. There are some that think like me, but not many at all. And so anyways, most people think this way, and it's just like, kind of blows my mind that we can just repeat what the next person says and act like that's okay, to just leave it at that, not look into it further at all. And I'm starting to wonder if these people subconsciously know that they're wrong for doing that, and that's why they keep doing it. Maybe it's cognitive dissonance. I don't know. That's an interesting thing to look up. I think I'm going to look up the definition again to get a better understanding of it. But I'm pretty sure the cognitive dissonance is like ignoring something, trying to avoid something that is very serious, or I want to say traumatic, or something serious that is happening or has happened, and the person who's using the cognitive dissonance is they're just ignoring. I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but yeah, they ignore basically what the truth is because of how traumatic it is, or because of how extreme it might be, even though it's the truth. I don't actually know if I'm telling you guys the right definition, but forgive me if I am telling you the wrong definition, but I'm gonna have to look that up. Maybe I can put that in the description. I'm just laughing at myself sometimes. I do that. Actually, I'm laughing at this whole thing, you know? It's crazy. It really is so crazy. I'm not shocked anymore. It's, because going through all this stuff for years, it's, you're used to it. I hate to say it. I really hate to say that, but I'm used to it. It doesn't shock me. It just, I'll admit, once in a while it pisses me off. But mainly, it just fuels me to want to expose these people even more. And I'm wondering, because lately, before I started making videos again, the gang stalking was like softened or lowered, whatever you want to call it. And I'm thinking that because, okay, this sounds really crazy, but after a while of the gang stalking, okay, this is not everybody, but after a while, year after year after year, I think what they do is they'll slow it down a little bit because they realize that you're getting so vigilant, and you're like, okay, if you want to do all this stuff to me, well, I'm going to expose you. And then when you start exposing them, tell me if I'm right. I don't know if this happens with anybody else, but, and please tell me if it does, but it's like they're trying to, I swear, it's like someone's trying to take my thought. That's how it feels, okay? I can't prove that that's going on, but that's how it feels right now, okay? Alright. I honestly don't even know what I was talking about. Oh boy. It's crazy. It's all so insane. Okay, so I got it. After a while, after year after year after year, going through this, you start exposing it because you're so, like, F you, I'm going to do this and I'm going to expose this. If you want to treat me like this and put me through this all my life and put all these other people through this that don't deserve it, well, I'm going to expose you. And then they see that the more that they hit us with the gang stalking, the more we're going to expose it. This is just one view that I have seen. Like, I know that there's other things that happen as well, but I feel like this is probably one of their tactics. Because I know, I've heard so many TIs say, well, on YouTube, they've said, well, right now, or whatever, let's say, for a certain period of time, their stalking lessened or stopped for a while, but then it never really goes away. Like, it just slows down and then it picks up again. And I really think that those times are when, like, they know that you're in a certain state of mind, so they want to get you out of that, sharing the truth state of mind. That's how I put it. And they want to put you in this dumbed down state. Even though they can't get you dumbed down to the point of the masses, they can, it's almost like a mental blindness or blurriness. Like, you can't really see everything. Like, you still know the truth in your heart, but I feel like sometimes they blur it Not to say that, okay, they're doing everything and controlling me and controlling my mind all the time. And no, I'm just saying that there are times that, we might not be aware, and then that's when they come in and, the psychological tactics that they do, because this is what gang stalking is about. It's all about psychological tactics. So for me to say this is not so much crazier than like the stuff that I was, stuff that I have been talking about. So it's all a mind fuck. Sorry, but I'm gonna say it, okay? That's what it is. It's all mind games. And I'm just a type of person that likes to analyze and search and research and figure things out like a puzzle. Like, I actually enjoy trying to figure things out. So, this is something I naturally do, I should say. I don't necessarily enjoy this, like I said before. This is not something we should be enjoying, okay? I'm just saying the analyzing part, that is something that I always have enjoyed. And I naturally do it now, so it's easier for me to figure things out and to see the connections. That's basically what I'm saying. Also, again, I know I repeat myself sometimes, but I just want to let everybody know I have high functioning autism, so if sometimes my speech is a little different, or it is like choppy, or I pause for a long period of time, or if I'm not making complete sense, but then I eventually do, I know I eventually do, if I'm kind of just stumbling over my words and stuff, just, if you can, just please be patient with me. Again, I'm trying to show you guys the real me. I'm not trying to edit or take anything out of here. But again, like I said, editing is cool. Like, I wish that I could do editing, but I just know that that's going to take up a lot more of my time, and I'm trying to use my time very wisely. And it's kind of like a contradiction, because yes, editing will save other people more time when they're looking at the video, but yeah, trying to save myself some time so that I can do as much research as possible. So, and other things as well. All right, I think I'm going to end it. Thank you. Bye.